so we got meatballs. So I have 3 pounds of lean ground beef. All the ingredients for this you'll be able to pick up on my website, chefwarren.ca. I'll have this recipe posted there step by step. But we're going to put some seasoning, some herbs. I'm going to use half an egg. So what I did is I just cracked the egg in half and just kind of stole half of it basically. And get all the ingredients in there. A couple tablespoons of barbecue sauce, not much egg, a little bit of breadcrumbs, not too much. I want the meat to be really light and fluffy. Then what we're going to do is going to roll them up. So to roll the meatballs, what I do is I kind of make little cups in my hand, right? So I kind of cut my hand a little bit and roll it. So there's a bit of a space, and we make little balls, not too tight. We want to make them tight enough so they don't fall apart when we cook. And we don't want to squeeze them too tight, so when they're cooked, they're going to be too dense. So nice and light meatballs, but make sure they hold their shape really well. Get that on the go. So I preheated the pan so the water beads. We put the meatballs in and brown them for about 5 minutes. I have my flexible spatula here. I'm just going to loosen them up nice and easy. Slide the spatula right underneath, kind of loosens the meatball up. Flip them over, and we're going to keep browning them. Nice and easy, nice way to make this work. Cut up those oils and fats, and you don't have to add any additional oil to fry our meats here. And then what we're going to do is, after I've flipped all the meatballs, I'm going to add the garlic that we chopped up and some chopped onions. Now the onions and the garlic I want to put on the bottom and get them right under the steel. The pot's nice and hot. There's a bit of fat coming out of the meatballs now that we flip them over, right? We've thrown all the everything in there, some mushrooms, some tomato paste, tomatoes, some rosemary, making sure the onions and garlic are right on the steel. As soon as those tomatoes go in there, the liquid from the tomatoes is going to really start to fry up those onions as well. Now throw the tomato paste in there, crushed tomatoes, a little bit more salt, some dry herbs. We got a bit of dry basil, a little bit of dry thyme. We're going to let this cook. I'm going to put the lid on and let it cook on a medium heat till the whistle goes off, probably at about 7 to 8 minutes. Now it's starting to reduce nicely here, right? I have it at a medium heat. I'm going to turn it down a bit. Now this is a nice trick. I'm going to add a half a teaspoon of baking soda. What the baking soda does, it counteracts a little bit of the acidity. So if you have like heartburn and you don't like those tomato type foods or acidic foods, this is a nice little trick, and it really makes this sauce very thick. It aerates it, so you want to make sure when you put the baking soda in, you give it a good stir and let it cook out for a few minutes. But it also makes the sauce nice and dark. And a little bit of brown sugar just to balance the flavor as well. Now I'm going to put some mozzarella cheese on top of the meatballs and just put the lid on and turn the stove off. And now when the pasta is almost done, now we're going to serve it up. So I cooked some pasta, some penne pasta. We did a pot of vegetables, broccoli, cauliflower, and carrots. I'm going to put those on the plate with the pasta, a bit of sauce. We got our meatballs, and that's meatballs. Enjoy.